All right, let's start. I'll start with a win is property management. We signed up 52 accounts last month. Pretty crazy. Nate writing 2 offers this week. Amazing. Thanks for joining today. Just had a great buyer consult in Santa Cruz. Awesome. Sawyer. Alex got a few tours set up for this weekend with a couple different buyers. An offer should be submitted for another this Thursday or Friday. Amazing, Alex. That's great activity. Daniel just closed escrow last Friday and another one closing this week. Buyer consult went great today and another scheduled tomorrow. Daniel, you're on fire, dude. I love it. I love it. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started, Nate. You ready?
Yep.
Just to kind of set the stage for everybody a little bit, I wanted to welcome everybody to our monthly spotlight. And boy, do we have a great one for you today. Today, we're here with Nathan Galloway, an experienced real estate agent whose story is both relatable and inspiring. But before we dive too far into Nate's journey, let's talk about the reality that most experienced real estate agents are facing today. Finding enough quality opportunities to convert into closings and creating a consistent income is a daily battle. We're in a market right now where inventory is tight and competition is fierce. And there's a daily struggle to maximize your time, trying to fit in everything a day that never seems long enough and feeling the pressure to be everywhere at once. Nate, many of the agents I know look to break this cycle by leveraging their time, right? And it seems like lately the number one place to do that is by reducing lead generation time of all places. And there seems to be an unlimited amount of phony lead companies out there promising closings where you don't even have to talk to the leads. They just sign up with you because you enrolled in their program. Now, of all these horrible lead programs out there, there is one that I know, and you know, Nate, right, that will work well, and that's Zillow Flex. But just to be clear, I think Zillow Flex can be a powerful tool, but it can also be kind of like a drug. It can be incredibly helpful when it's used correctly, giving a steady flow of leads. But it's oh so easy to get hooked. And at first, it feels great, getting quick wins and feeling the rush of showing houses. But soon you find yourself relying on it until you're strung out, chasing low quality buyer leads around for diminished commission returns and just constantly waiting for your next hit of leads. The more you rely on it, the harder it is to break free. And you have to have a plan up front of how you're going to stay strictly on it as prescribed and then wean off properly. For those of you on the call that might not heard of Zillow Flex before, it is a Zillow's referral program where they will just shower you with leads, but at the mere cost of a 40% referral fee. You'll then split that remaining 60% of the commission with your team, and then split that remaining commission with the brokerage. And then after everybody's gotten their cut, you will be left with whatever remains. Now, Nate did not let any of these challenges I mentioned define him, right? In the face of chaos, he's found a way to thrive. Now, Nate has found out a way to keep his business moving without completely sacrificing his compensation and, more importantly, sacrificing his time. And now Nate is building towards something bigger in the future that he can start creating additional streams of passive income. He can start mentoring agents, and he can focus on helping agents accelerate the time for it takes to get onto his current path. So Nate, can you tell us a little bit about your background in real estate and some of the brokerages and programs that you've kind of done in the past?
Hi, everyone. My name is Nathan Galloway. I've been a licensed realtor for 10 years. And during that time, I've had the opportunity to work with several reputable brokerages. I started my career off with a company called CSR. That was a smaller family-owned boutique brokerage. That's where I gained a strong foundation in residential real estate, learning the ropes from seasoned professionals. During my time there, I completed their intensive, training program, which focused more on market analysis, client relations, and negotiation skills. After a few years from there, I transitioned to Intero. Obviously that's a firm known for its innovative approach to real estate and strong focus on technology. Being in the background and understanding like what goes on there at that specific brokerage, what I can tell you is that Real's technology is like by far like leaps and bounds ahead of the rest. And so that was also something that really interested me about Real when I was learning to find out, who this company was. But overall, like, while I was there, I had an approach to real estate, strong focus on technology. I deepened my expertise in digital marketing strategies, utilizing cutting edge tools to maximize property visibility and streamline transactions. I also completed their advanced certification in luxury home sales, which allowed me to expand my client base and specialize in high-end properties. From there, I wanted to learn how to run a team. And at that point, I was looking to, get more time back. And so I knew that by learning to run a team, it was going to take a lot of work in the beginning. So from there, I ended up going to a company called Real Estate Experts, which is actually in Campbell. And I went and learned, this is prior to, me knowing what Kyle was doing. But from there, I went and learned from who I thought at the time was one of the best in the industry in terms of how to run a team. I was there for a few years. That was a really great experience. I remember, most of my career, guys, like I mainly worked with buyers, right? Like I had this fear of being a listing agent, and just this fear just controlled my, negative way of thinking, as if I'm not going to go and pursue listings. I'm just going to keep working with buyers because I felt comfortable. So I remember the last transition I made when I went and actually joined that top producing team. My broker, he understand what my goals are, what was important to me, and I was there to elevate my business. Because keep in mind, I was a solo agent for the first 6.5 years of my career. So like to be able to like go and join a team, that's usually not like the order that it happens in, right? And so it was for a purpose and for a reason. And I remember in those first 2 weeks while I was there, he's like, "Hey, Nate," he's like, "here you go. You have a listing appointment on Wednesday at 2 p.m. You're going by yourself." Right. And I remember like taking it all in, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like the amount of prep that I put into that meeting was like unlike no other. I mean, I was constantly focused on that meeting. I mean, overthinking it completely, memorizing the scripts, memorizing the presentation. What if they ask me this? What if they ask me that? What if they ask about my past experience? How many listings I've had? I went to the meeting and I crushed it. And it was a listing out in Ben Lomond, one of like my first listings that like I actually went, and crushed. And I remember driving home and I was over the moon. Like there was so much like off of my shoulders, and I was just laughing at myself like, wow, like you let that fear control that way of being and doing and conducting business for that long. But look what happens when you just go for it, And so like being there definitely was an amazing opportunity. I learned, how to run a team efficiently. Obviously, most recently, I've been with Real, where I just feel like my skills that I've honed over these years, whether it's investment properties, etc. I just feel like my background and my experience has paired me with top producers in the industry, which allows me to learn firsthand the intricacies of, complex transactions and portfolio management. And now I'm here and couldn't be happier. So thanks for having me.
For sure. That was a great intro. And so one of the things that you mentioned that I just like really loved, and you kind of kept repeating it in different ways. And that was when you wanted to learn something or you wanted to add something to your business, you went and sought out that extra help, that certification to do luxury sales. You wanted to see how a team was ran. So you went and sought out one of the best teams in the area and got to learn under the team lead and things like that. And then when you wanted to do the listing, you focus on the preparation of it. And so I think that's just like that right there is such a great nugget. It's like everything that you wanted to do, you went and sought out a path that was already kind of paved, and then learn through the people who'd been there before, right? And that's so important when we start talking about mentorship. That's kind of the power of mentorship. So really, really powerful stuff, and just like hearing your background right there already. And then before joining our team, you kind of mentioned the fear that you felt, going to listing appointments and different points. What were some of the other big challenges that you faced as an agent? And were there moments where you kind of felt stuck or unsure of your path?
Oh, good question. I would say before joining your team, like I definitely encountered several challenges that helped me shape me into the agent that I am today. I would say one of those biggest challenges, was navigating the market during downturns, right? Like particularly in the early years of my career, during these times, like it was difficult to maintain a steady pipeline of clients, and I had to learn how to adapt quickly, right? I was focusing on creative marketing strategies, expanding my network to sustain my business. Another challenge I feel like was balancing the varying needs of clients, right? Like, especially when working with both buyers and sellers simultaneously, each client has unique expectations, right? And it took time to develop the ability to manage multiple transactions effectively while ensuring that each client felt prioritized and well supported. So I learned the importance of clear communication, setting realistic expectations, developing a strong organizational system just to keep everything on track. To be completely honest, like I've been doing this since 2014. I think I passed my test in July, so it was like really like a huge learning curve for that first year. So it was really like 2015 when I jumped in. But I will say, like, it got to a point like where I realized what was going on. There was a lot of ups and a lot of downs, right? A lot of ups and a lot of downs. Like the consistency was always a problem in my business. And that's what I was looking for. I wanted to make a consistent income, right? I wanted to understand, how do I leverage systems and processes, to spend more time with my children. And it just got to a point where even in 2023, I stepped away from the business, actually. I found myself I didn't have the desire. I didn't have like the same passion that I had. And so like I was showing up and I was like half the version of myself. And I knew that was a problem because I wasn't serving my clients' needs at, the expectation that I expect as a professional. So I ended up actually taking a break from real estate in 2023. I was fortunate enough to, take 6 months off. I was just at a point where, I'm at open houses. I'm just no passion. Like, hey, welcome to the open house. Like, how did you hear about us? Right. So there was like this really big moment in my life after being in this industry for as long as I have, where I just like had to look in the mirror and I had to really ask myself, like, what is it that I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, how am I going to take care of my children? How am I going to live the life that I want to? And is real estate in the picture? And so, I took 6 months off in 2023. And that's when I came back. And so I'm recently back and about 6 months back into the business. Took a little while off. But I just couldn't be more excited. I got the passion back. I got, the fire, my belly back. And, and yeah, I think another significant challenge was balancing the varying needs of clients, right? Especially when working with the buyers and sellers is what I was referring to. There were moments when I felt stuck. There were, particularly when I hit a plateau in my career growth. I remember feeling unsure on how to take my business to the next level. So during those times, like I sought out mentors, I participated in advanced, training programs. I just made a conscious effort to expand my knowledge in areas like digital marketing, investment properties. But overall, those were steps that helped me, overcome those hurdles and kind of reignite my passion for real estate.
That's incredible, like background on your story. And I think for everybody listening here today, whether you're new or experienced, I think you kind of can take solace in what Nate just said, because don't feel bad that you don't have it all figured out yet. Like Nate kind of mentioned throughout there, learning throughout his entire journey. And then also like he hit points where he felt like he's like tired of being on the roller coaster, right? Like the ups and downs became challenging. And I think like everybody who's in sales can empathize with that feeling. And I shared with you, we were on Nate and I talked on a call for a little while yesterday, kind of preparing for today. And I shared them similar things happened to me in 2022. So for you, Nate, what do you think kind of like re-sparked that fire after taking those 6 months off?
Really just becoming more one with myself. I think that like it started internally. And that's when I realized, okay, like I absolutely do love what I do, right? It with working with buyers or working with sellers. Like I just remembered everything that I loved about it in the beginning, and I just brought it all the way back and then like times it by 100 because of my experience and me committing to it, like understanding what the opportunity, I truly have is ahead of me. And it just got me going again. But I would say, like there's like for me, like I tell my clients all the time, like, I'm not in this for the money. Like, it is so about the client and their experience, from beginning to the end. And just to be a part of that, it's just one of the most rewarding, things that's out there as a professional. I mean, you get to see their kids growing up from ages, 3, and next thing you know, they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, right? Like the goal is like their kids use you, right, to buy a house in the future. But overall, it was just really reminding myself that, hey, you got into this industry for a reason. You love it. You have such a strong passion for it. And again, I'm not a transactional agent. I feel like a lot of agents out there are. It's really about the relationship. And so looking back, like those challenges for me were definitely invaluable. They pushed me to grow, refine my skills, become more resilient. They also taught me, the importance of continuous learning and adaptability in an industry that's obviously always changing, right? But yeah, that's what I would say. Just remembering, why I got into the industry in the first place.
That's great stuff. Great stuff. So we're only 15 minutes in, and Nate's already, I feel like, dropped so much knowledge for all of us to learn from. If you guys could just share one thing so far in the chat that you've learned from Nate, something that has a little insight, a little help that he's already given. Cyrus, non-transactional and relationship-based, pursues specialty education, always prepared, it always pays off, and relationships matter. Melina, build solid relationships. Keith, self-reflection and self-awareness, slow down to speed up. Absolutely. Don't live in fear. I love it. I love it.
I love that, Keith. Slow down to speed up. That's absolutely right.
Definitely. And you kind of talked about leading, you had to lead oneself before you could kind of really start leading others, leading your clients. And so I think that was huge, a part of your 6 months taking off. So Ethan, great stuff. Nate, love the long-term relationships. Love it. Okay. So kind of transferring now to today, in the short period of time on our team, you've already had some pretty incredible successes. Can you share with us a specific win or milestone that stands out to you?
I would say the biggest win that I guess it's just top of mind right now because I'm going through it. We're about to close escrow next week. Is I've always wanted to, when we talk about certifications, right? Like I have my first time buyers, specialist certification, the FTBS, certified negotiation expert. I have the graduate realtor, GRI, which is, enhancing realtors' knowledge of real estate marketing, with, giving you skills that set you apart from your competition. I always wanted to sign up for the Hope for Heroes program. So what that is that's like first responders. You're working with first responders, doctors, lawyers, teachers, right? And it's a down payment assistant program through the state of California. So I was fortunate enough to work with my first set of clients there, and they were teachers. They teach here locally in San Jose, one at Bagby, one at Sauterette. And just to have that opportunity to work with, buyers who are hoping to become homeowners in the Bay Area. Like it's not cheap out here. It's very expensive, right? And like they're teachers, like they're paycheck to paycheck. They're barely making it. They have their entire life savings, bundled up into this down payment. It's a really big deal. And to kind of walk them through the process, 6 offers later, right? And to get them the home that they wanted at a great deal, and, bringing that to close, and just to see the full circle there, because again, that's something I wanted to do for a while now, and I never took action on it. And then finally I was like, you know what, like I'm going to do it. And next thing you know, like here I am, 2 months later, closing my first deal there. But I would say that's probably one of the most satisfying wins for me, just based on affordability, and being able to, again, like these ones, they're challenging transactions. They only have 3% down. They're getting another 3% from the state of California. They need a minimum of 1% towards the purchase price for their closing costs. And you have to kick back, up to about 4,000 as the realtor. But I was able to actually negotiate that into the closing cost, so I didn't really come out of pocket too much there. But that was probably the biggest win, just because to see how happy they were. Another one that kind of pops up is, I was able to get a buyer into contract, a Zillow lead. I think we got in contract at 4,750,000. That was a huge win, mainly because they moved in and they already have like 350K in equity right out of the gate. And, understanding the situations that, how complex all transactions can be. It was because of a particular reason. There was other offers on the table, but understanding the nuances, how to read it, how to leverage your offer to put you in the best position possible really paid off for there. But yeah, those two are top of mind right now. Really, really love those ones.
And as you tell both those stories, like the first thing that comes to my mind on both those stories is it wasn't only about the money. Yes, there was money involved, there was compensation, but it was also a lot of your reward was about your client's journey there.
Totally.
And so, like, that's about when we do sales or we have any type of goals. If we have a vision stands so much higher than that. And so that's kind of goes to speak to your vision of providing these relationships to your clients, not just making a commission, making a sale.
Mhm.
We did have a quick question in the chat. You kind of keep mentioning these certifications. Where are these certifications primarily that you've been working with?
So every like county's different. I'm a part of NAR here in downtown San Jose. There's a facility that they do certifications and classes like literally every other week, right? Some of them you don't even need to be there in person nowadays, right? You could do it on Zoom. I think it's extremely beneficial to do that, especially where we're at as a whole in this ever changing marketplace, everything that's going on with the BBRC, compensations at the top of the topic discussion for most consumers. And so I believe that the next thing to make yourself stand out is to go and get those certifications. Go and make yourself stand out. Put in that extra work. Go there for the weekend. Whatever it takes. Usually they're no more than 2 or 3 days, and it's really easy to do. And I think if you're able to have that in your ammo, and you're able to let your clients know when you're being interviewed, hey, I'm a certified first-time home buyer specialist, or whatever the case may be. I just think it's going to pay off more than what people, know or understand. And, I feel like all of us need to do that ASAP because we're going to be standing out from the competition for sure.
Yeah,
So look up local.
create a higher value and be able to communicate that value to your clients.
Right.
Nate doesn't run the risk of becoming a discount agent because he's put in the work to not be a discount agent. He will not become a commodity in the real estate.
Yeah, but you can go to card.org, and on that website, they'll have a bunch of different classes, upcoming classes for those that are interested.
Awesome. Thanks for the insight. All right. So now since I'm being on the team, you've done 4 transactions on just 50 Zillow leads, which is an 8% conversion rate. Now, our team does really well with Zillow leads, and we usually convert at a 4% conversion lead. So what are the key tactics that you're utilizing at a high level to have double what I consider a good conversion rate?
Got it. Well, thanks for those tips. I didn't really know that data until you shared that with me. Makes sense. I would say we're talking about Zillow, right? This is all Zillow. Okay. I can't stress enough how important that first initial conversation is on the phone. That's first and foremost. There's a reason why we're there to, identify appointment, location, and motivation, between the consumer. The more that we can read on that initial discovery call when they're calling in to see 123 Main Street, the better it's going to be for you as an agent to, propel yourself to win in this market. Okay, is this person 3 months from now? Are they looking to buy now? Or are they really a year out? Like, what are their goals? What is important to them? Why is that important to you? Like, you have to dissect and peel everything back, and then you'll be able to show them what their best options are. The first and foremost is I'm understanding before I'm going to that meeting, hey, are they 3 months out, 6 months out, a year out? Like, I got a feel from it just based on the experience and how many conversations we have. So the first and foremost is I would say make sure that discovery call, don't rush it. Don't rush it at all. Please ask, are there any other areas that you're interested in? And why do we ask that? Because if they're interested in another area, guess what? Like every single time, the number one thing I have written here for tactics is I'm showing more than one property every single time on that first showing. Every time. Like you can expect it. So if they're telling me they're interested in another area, and that area, the borderline for that zip code is usually they're all like 10, 12 minutes away. I'm going to take them to another home that's identical in specs, bedroom count, similar in price, and or I'll show them a few off markets. But first and foremost, I'd say that discovery call is so important. Really understand, take the time for them to really feel your passion behind it, that, hey, like this person's really trying to understand my goals, what's important to me and why that's important to me. Like that feels good. Like this guy's definitely going to show me what my best options are. I'd start there. I'm at the showing, and again, we're in the house, and what I like to do right away is I look around the house and I'm looking for things that I know the average home buyer's eyeballs are not going to catch, right? If I see some sort of termite damage or dry rot, or if the sink isn't running right, if the shower has low pressure, is there a slant in any areas of the home? Whatever I can pick out of nuances on what's not like perfect about the home, I immediately say. I'm walking around because guess what, guys? Like literally, the average home buyer knows within the first 3 minutes of walking into a house if they're going to buy it or not. You know what I mean? So for me, it's just about like I'm ready to roll to those two or three properties, and then from that point, I'm booking a consultation. But let me just back up here. So I'm in the house. I'm pointing things out that they wouldn't see. What is that going to make them do? They're gonna trust me more. They're going to trust me more, right? They're going to like me and trust me. That's all I'm looking to do. Like me and trust me, like me and trust me. Then at that point, I'm going to go ahead and take them to another property. I'm going to do the same thing, walk around, point out great things, but also point out things that they're not seeing. And then at that point is when we're leaving, at that point, that relationship's built. Like they like me, they trust me. And I'm immediately asking for a consultation. Has anybody ever taken the time to give you a market update on what it takes to win in this competitive market that we're in? Oh, no, no, no. Okay. So I always set up that consultation before they leave. At least verbally, we'll be talking. Okay, what day? Oh, at this time. Okay, great. You'll get a calendar invite. I'll see you there. If from now until then, if any other properties come up that interest you, let me know. I'll continue to send you off markets as well. But once I understand what your goals are, what's important to you, and why that's important to you, that's when I'll be able to show you what your best options are. So that's why I do the meeting, right? And if we get them to do the meeting, like they're committed. Like most of the time, I'd say like my conversion rate on those meetings, it goes from, 50-50 all the way up to like, anywhere from 82 to 86% conversion rate. So I think that's really important. Ask for the market update consultation. Again, I mentioned pointing out nuances that I see in every home right away. My biggest goal is to get them to like me and trust me. And I just feel like that's been the bread and butter to the success with these, consumers coming in from Zillow.
That was amazing. I took some notes while you were talking there. So first off, show more than one property. What if they are, let's say, 9 to 12 months out? What does that look like?
Oh, I'll still show them if they're 9 to 12 months out. And like the longer that they're out, the better, because what are they expecting as a consumer? Oh, well, like sometimes they're going to like put yourself in their shoes. They're going to be like, oh, I don't really want to tell Nathan that we're 12 months out. He's not really going to give us any attention. Who knows how that's going to be. So the longer, the better for me, because then at that point, it's like, hey, let's explore a few other floor plans, different homes at this price point in different areas, just so you guys can compare apples to apples on what you could have gotten in today's market versus what you'll get 12 months from now, right? Something for us to always go back on. I'll have a spreadsheet for us. I'll have the properties we viewed, the price, what their asking price was, what it sold for. So then if they're ready, 6 months down the line, we go back to that sheet and then we kind of analyze and compare apples to apples. Sometimes they're getting a good deal and they like it, but other times they're like, dang it, we should have moved forward sooner, right? But yeah, for that, like I don't let that stop me.
I think that's great insight because that's one of the things that I see newer agents do wrong is they say, hey, this person's 12 months out, they're 18 months out. I don't want to waste my time showing them around houses. So I think the fact that you're an experienced agent who converts at a high rate, has been doing Zillow Flex, has done Zillow at many different levels, and has converted a high amount of deals. this is something still worthwhile to you to go get in person, get belly belly, make that relationship, build that trust, get them to trust me, get them to like me, convert them then to the strategy session. And then, like you said, then the conversion rate's 86%. If they're buying with Nate because you're their real estate professional that they know, like, and trust, right?
Yep, 100%. I'd also like piggyback off that is it's very important to nurture them in the CRM. I'm pretty sure we all, have drip systems that are automatically there. Please use those and utilize them because I'm telling you, like, if you do that, you can set it and forget it. And then it's always going. I would always recommend reaching out to them at the very worst once a quarter, but really once a month just to check in on them because those little calls are golden nuggets. It shows the consumer that you truly care about them. Not they're not buying right now, but that says so much to them and just speaks volumes, right? It's like, hey, I'm just checking in to see how you guys are doing. How are the kids going? You guys were on top of mind. I just wanted to reach out to see how everything was going. And they appreciate that. So utilize the CRM. Again, if they're 12 months out, it's okay. Like they will come around. Like I've literally last week, I had 2 leads from Zillow, who were about like 6 to 8 months out who came back and said, hey, you know what? Like we're actually ready to go. So like things change, right? And so, yeah, there was one more thing I'm trying to think of in terms of leveraging that system. But yeah, definitely utilize the CRM for sure.
Awesome. So kind of recap a couple of things in case you guys missed some of it. So on the scripting, that initial call, focus on why, not what. So ask those initial surface level questions, and then make sure you dig down deeper to understand the motivation why. Those are the second and third level questions that are so important. Always show more than one property, even if they are 12 to 18 months out, doesn't matter. Go show your skills and build trust. Look around the house, be that professional to build that trust. Point out the things that are wrong with the home, help them understand how you're going to be able to enhance their search. Transfer them into a strategy session, build that value, and then continue to nurture them minimum quarterly, but suggested by Nate once per month.
Once per month, quick phone call.
Quick phone call. I love it. This is great stuff. It's super simple, right, guys? Like that isn't overly complex at all. You don't have to be a 10-year vet to do those things at all. But Nate's been doing it long enough that he's got his formula and he sticks to it. He's not trying to recreate the wheel every time he goes in there. He's sticking to what he knows works. And so how has your income, your business, and your life outside of business changed kind of since joining our team?
Ooh.
I switched deep on you, right? I went from transactional Zillow to deep.
No worries. I would say, obviously, like since joining your team, like I've experienced positive changes across my income, business, and personal life. Starting with my income, I've seen a noticeable increase, which I attribute to the team's strong support system. I'd say access to high quality leads and advanced marketing tools. I think the collaborative environment here has sort of enabled me to close more deals and take on higher value properties. This combined with the additional resources and the training that's all involved, provided by the team, obviously has significantly boosted my earning potential. In terms of business, being a part of your team, I would say it's allowed me to elevate my practice in several ways. The team's reputation and extensive network, it's just opened up doors to new opportunities, particularly in areas of the market that I hadn't fully explored yet. And so I've been able to expand my client base, diversify the types of properties I handle, and even take on more challenging transactions, I'd say with confidence, knowing I have the strong team to back me up and the shared knowledge, collaboration with the team. It's just sharpened my skills and kept me ahead of the market trends for sure. So that's, been awesome. The property management, I'm not sure if we're going to get into that, but I'm just going to touch base on it. Like, that is, in my opinion, the opportunity that we have here with property management is really like no other brokerage I've ever seen. And it is such a niche that I truly think that if you really devote yourself to it, and you work hard in that department, it's going to turn into more listings. Like you guys, we have property owners who own multiple properties, right, that are calling in to get property management done. Of course, if we nurture and take care of that relationship the right way, when they go to sell, guess who they're using? They're using us. And I've seen that time and time again with a lot of our agents here at Real on C2 Realty, for some experienced agents, and even for new agents. Like there's people getting listings, and like for me, that opportunity is so cool and just tech savvy, and like I know it's not offered anywhere else, that I just absolutely love it. So I think Kevin Cesario, like, right, like he built his book of business from investors, from those exact type of leads calling in. So grab the bull by the horns, because for me, like I see that's a game changer, an absolute game changer for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I know one of the agents that you mentor, brand new agent, he's already signed 3 listing agreements in his first, I think, 7 months in the business. So pretty cool stuff. For agents out there, maybe in the same spot you were in that you mentioned a year ago, where they're kind of unsure what to do next, what advice would you give them today?
I would say for agents who find themselves at a crossroads, or unsure of what to do next, I'd probably offer four things. The first one is to embrace continuous learning. The real estate industry, it's dynamic. The most successful agents are those who never stop learning. Whether you're feeling stuck or simply, seeking to advance, invest in your education, invest in yourself, take courses, attend seminars, stay updated on market trends and new technologies, expand your knowledge, open new doors, reignite your passion for the business. That would be the first thing. The second thing I'd say is seek out mentorship. Don't be afraid to reach out to more experienced agents or industry professionals who you admire. A mentor obviously can provide, invaluable guidance, help you navigate challenges and offering fresh perspectives for your business. They've likely faced similar struggles and can share strategies that help them overcome those hurdles, right? The third thing, I would say, elevate and adapt your business model. Like, if you feel like your business is plateaued, like take a step back and evaluate your current model. Like, are there any areas where you can improve efficiency on? Are you leveraging technology to its fullest potential, right? Sometimes small adjustments in how you operate can lead to significant growth, I would say. So just be willing to adapt, try new approaches, whether it's, adopting marketing strategies or exploring different niches in real estate. For instance, the property management partnership that we have. The fourth thing I would say is focus on your strengths. Focus on your strengths. Gary Vaynerchuk says, hey, double down on your strengths. Why wouldn't we? We know what we're good at, so double down on it. So like identify what you're truly good at and lean into those strengths, whether it's client relations, negotiation, or market analysis. Focus on your unique skills that can help you stand out in a crowded market. Don't spread yourself out too thin by trying to, be everything to everyone. Like specialization can often lead to more success and satisfaction. The fifth thing I'd say is probably network with purpose, right? Build and nurture your network with intention. Surround yourself with positive, driven people. Go out there, attend industry events, right? Join professional groups. Like just don't hesitate to put yourself out there, because there's going to be new opportunities and partnerships and even referrals. And the sixth thing I'd say is set clear goals. Make sure we're being real with ourselves. Like without clear goals, it's easy to feel lost or like directionless. So take the time to define what success looks like for you in the short and long term. That would be something I'd say. Consider a change would be 7, right? Sometimes the best way to move forward is to embrace change. Like if your current environment isn't helping you grow, it might be time to explore new opportunities, whether it's, joining a different brokerage, shifting your focus to a new market segment, or even starting your own team, right? So change, can be daunting, but it often leads to growth. Prioritize work-life balance, trust the process, and yeah.
I love it. That's so helpful. And so you've given us so much great stuff here today. I'm sure people on the call today are wondering, so I'll go ahead and ask for everybody, how do you feel about mentoring other agents who are struggling or just brand new to the business agents?
So I remember I remember how challenging it was when I first started and the invaluable guidance I received from experienced agents. Like, mentoring is my way of paying it forward. So I want to help others avoid common pitfalls and, find their path more quickly, I would say. And then, just personal growth, like, it's not just beneficial for the mentee, but it's also a great way for me to grow, like as a person, as a leader, teaching others, like it forces me to stay sharp, right? Like these Friday accountability meetings, like forces me to stay sharp, be ahead of the curve, be ready to answer any questions that you guys have. A few of you guys have reached out to me. I love it, all these questions being asked, and I've helped as much as I can. But continuing to learn and just view the business from fresh perspectives. Like I didn't realize like how much I would really enjoy it. Like everyone here has really just put more life back into me because it reminds me of myself when I first got into the industry for those that are new. And it's just so refreshing. Like it's just so refreshing. Like it's just a mutually enriching experience, I would say.
So if anybody is interested in getting mentorship for you, how can they reach out to you?
You guys can reach out to me, via email, text, call, LinkedIn, IG, Facebook. I'm around. You just look me up. I'll make sure we drop my contact info here. And at the end of the day, it's just about building a stronger industry, right? So like by helping new agents develop their skills and confidence, like I'm contributing to a more professional and knowledgeable industry. When agents are well trained and supported, overall quality of service improves, which everyone benefits from, including our clients. And again, like I said, it's incredibly rewarding to see someone, go from struggling or unsure to confident and successful. Like knowing that I played a part in their journey is fulfilling to me. And it just reminds me why I'm passionate about real estate in the first place.
I love it. And that goes back to that vision that you're talking about earlier. The question from Alex, Nate, how would you break down how you spend your time each day? And then on top of that, if you could go back to your first year and give your former self one piece of advice, what would it be? How would you break down how you spend your time each day?
Well, I feel like if I answer the two-part question, I'm going to answer the second question first.
Okay.
And the second question was what?
Second question was, if you could go back to your first year and give your former self one piece of advice,
Love it.
what would it be? That's a great question. Yeah.
I would say just to jump off the ledge, have both feet in, your entire body, soul, spirit in one side of the business. And I would say to understand, try to understand what you're good at now and just double down and go all the way in on that. And as you're building that path out, like let's just say you're farming, once you're like build that path out, now start to separate other, areas of opportunity by doing the action steps it takes to get it. So it's a slower growth process, but if you do it the right way, like it's incredible because your business is going to be bulletproof. I would say one of the mistakes I made was I had no direction in the beginning, right? Like there was no direction. It was just go, 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 go. Like have some sort of direction, and that's going to go such a long way. Just going to go a long way. Another thing I want to say is a mistake I made in the beginning of my career was I wasn't smart with my money, honey. Right? You close your first $20,000 check. Oh, believe me, I remember. I was like, we're going to Hawaii. We're doing this. Woo, we're partying. We're having fun. Like now I'm at the place, hey, 10 years in, well, this obviously I learned it a while ago, but have your systems, have your financial setup, whether you have an LLC, an S Corp, it truly matters. Like you have to do that. Like I ended up paying way more in taxes than I ever needed to because it took me so long to catch up to that. So I'd start there, Alex, make sure you're doing that. And then again, like whatever, market segment you're looking to get into, just dive all in.
Love it. And then the second question from Alex is, how would you break down how you spend your time each day?
Perfect. So now, like, where I see my business going in 5 years from now, right, it's a lot different than what I thought like in the past. So for me, it's about slowly, I would say, prioritizing my calendar. That is so important. Like if it's not on my calendar, I'm not going to do it, right? And so I have all these great ideas on how to get to this place, right? For instance, like probate attorneys, that's going to be one of the big things for me. So I'm going to be going out and meeting probate attorneys, and establishing a relationship there. But I would say what's most important is just delegating your time and understanding ahead of time before you get into the office or before you start your workday at home what it is you're really doing. And it's easier for me to look at my calendar if everything's there. So, like for investors, like you're looking to work with investors. Okay, great. Like work on getting off market opportunities, like create a relationship with wholesalers, flippers, first asset bank management teams, right? Whenever there's a house that's about to be foreclosed on, like you want to be that call first, right? So set yourself up so you have enough inventory and opportunity to continue to keep sending to these investors. And as you build out that list, you'll start to notice it's just going to keep building. So put in every single listing or flip you have into that spreadsheet, send it out to them every single day, and go from there.
Awesome. Great answers. Like really be intentional with your time is the key there.
Yes, really
And then,
being
and then Alex, to your comment back, absolutely like just continue the path because you have the consistency is what wins here. None of this is a get rich quick scheme. It's all about the consistency.
totally.
So you got a lot of love in the chat there, Nate. A lot of nuggets that were shared that you dropped today. Even more, I'm sure that were written down and lots of love. Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing all this wisdom with us. Thank you for being such a great member of the team and such a great role model for us all on how we can embody just like you to run our business just like you run. So really appreciate your time here today, Nate.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you for all the kind words, everybody. Appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Take care, everybody.